Probably a good thing. I think that we have folks from different parties in a room together, and I think anytime that you do that, you're going to get some heated discussion. But I don't think that that's a bad thing. I also think that that is it's important that we sit down and hash out some of the issues. I think a lot of times what happens when I sit down and listen to people who are far left of me or far right of me, either way it may be, and that happens to me, both sides happens to me all the time, I find out certain things about one side or the other that I didn't know. And I think it's healthy. So hopefully you all agree with me that it has been a healthy conversation. And I'm speaking to that over here because we have some folks over here who are far left and some folks who are far right, and as a result of it, they're getting some heated discussions here. But listen here, the main issue. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. And I just want to kind of give people a sense of who I am. For some people, there are some people who do not know who I am. I am a fourth generation Euclidean. My family's been here for years. But most importantly, we've got a very uphill climb still today. We've got about 33 more days until Election Day, and early voting starts on October 6th. And so if there is someone, I'm going to hit on these things as opposed to laying out some of my policy stuff, guys. Check out my website. Check out this pamphlet, which talks a lot about some of the things that are important to me and some of the main issues that we're facing in Euclid today. A lot of folks don't know the facts. A lot of folks don't know that we are $55 million in debt. A lot of people don't know that. And so that's something that I have in my pamphlet to let folks know that, because that is a fact. And we all know that if we personally are in $55 million worth of debt, we'd be in big trouble financially. And so I think fiscally, Euclid is in big trouble, being $55 million in debt. You look at East Cleveland. They've got a lot of great issues in East Cleveland, but they have zero debt. And I think that East Cleveland took one route, and Euclid took another route. East Cleveland's route was to not borrow themselves into oblivion. Euclid's route was we're going to borrow to cover up all of the crap that's going on, cover up the fact that we have absolutely no vision to bring in new businesses. We have no plan to bring in new businesses. We're not in the businesses that we have here, building relationships enough with the businesses that we have today. And so as a result of it, we're losing many of the businesses that we've had. We lost over $2 million in revenue from businesses last year alone. Okay? And so these are things that are important. You need somebody who has, and it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody young, but I think it's a benefit that I am young, but somebody who's going to roll up their sleeves, who's going to not care about what's important to everybody else, who's going to build the necessary relationships with businesses. I plan on day one of my very first month in office, I'm going to sit down with business owners in every corridor here in the city of Euclid, and we're going to talk about what's important to their strip mall, what's important to their area, what's important to their business. What can I do as an administration? What can we do to support that business in their efforts for doing business here in Euclid and for their business their business to expand? Because we want them not only to bring their business here, but we want them to grow here in Euclid. Okay? And so that's important. Another reason why bringing businesses here is so important to Euclid is because a lot of regular folks here in Euclid are tired of leaving Euclid to go get what they need, to leave Euclid to go get what they want. And a good example that I give people all the time is if you have someone who comes from out of town to visit you here in Cleveland, right? You're going to put them in a hotel somewhere, right? If you don't want them staying in your house, you're going to put them in a hotel somewhere. And where are you going to go and put them in a hotel at? You're either going to put them in a hotel somewhere downtown, somewhere up in Beechwood, or probably right here off of 90 in Willoughby, right? Well, that's not Euclid. That means that we're not benefiting from the revenue that they're bringing to come here to visit at all. And then what happens is, because we don't have the restaurants here in Euclid to patronize, we don't have the shopping opportunities here in Euclid for them to patronize, so what happens is you begin going on their turf and courting them. They never ever get to see Euclid. Ever. And as a result of it, Euclid never gets to see not only your dollars that you spend courting your loved ones from out of town, but Euclid never gets to see their dollars that they brought here. That is not a winning strategy. We keep going to the ballot box, we keep voting for the names that we know. These names get in office and they support and take care of the names that they know, and regular folks are getting left out of the process. And you know what happens when I walk on streets of Euclid? I'm finding out from regular folks that they are tired of getting left out of the process. And as a result of it, that's the reason I'm in this race. I'm going to continue to talk about economic growth and economic development. Not only that, but you can't just say you're going to bring businesses. How are you going to do it? I'm a business broker. I buy and sell businesses for a living. I've had businesses that start up and fail, so I understand what it takes to succeed. I've had businesses that I've bought or sold for someone where I was able to get them that business for over $200,000 less than what they intended to spend and for what that business owner intended that thought that they were going to get. So when people tell you that I'm going to give away the store and I'm not going to be strong enough on negotiations, that's what I do for a living. That's how I feed my family. My wife doesn't wear Gucci and gold, but that's a saying in one of those movies, is that that's what keeps my wife in Gucci and gold. That's what keeps my wife looking so good. It's because I work my tail off in every way that I can to make sure that I can feed my family. And I know that there are a lot of great folks in Euclid that do the exact same thing. We need a leader in government that understands that everyday struggle, that understands real life, and that has real solutions to some of the real problems that we face here in Euclid. Another thing regular folks don't understand at all is this. Our crime rate here in Euclid is increasing, tremendously increasing. But yet we're making declines in safety forces. We laid off firefighters last year. The mayor came before the city and said, guess what? Every time we have an officer that's going to retire this year, we're not going to replace that officer. And that's the way we're going to save money. How about you fire your $80,000 secretary who works part-time and is a double dipper? And that's the way that you save money. There are a lot of inefficiencies in government that by sitting in every single council meeting, every architectural review board meeting, planning and zoning, I understand the issues that Euclid face today. And that's why I'm talking about some of this stuff. Some politicians cannot believe that I'm saying some of the stuff that I'm saying on the campaign trail. I'm knocking on doors and telling people some of the stuff I'm telling them. But you know why I'm telling them? Because it's the truth. It's the truth. We need more folks that are going to do just that. And that's why I'm in this race. So I can talk about bringing businesses here and my business experience helping me to do that. But another thing is, what is the reason why so many businesses are leaving? What is the reason why businesses don't want to come here? What's the reason why millennials, I talked to folks down in Tri-City in Cleveland State about 2.5 months ago and asked them where they're going to go and buy a home at. They're naming Southside suburbs. They're not thinking about coming and buying a home here in Euclid. They're not thinking about coming and raising their kids here in Euclid. We have a councilman, okay, that sits on Euclid City Council today, right now, who has bought a home in Wycliffe and is leaving Euclid because his wife doesn't want to send his kids to Euclid City schools. Folks don't want me talking about that either, but guess what? That's true. And I think that is a clear reflection of the problems that we're facing here today. You have somebody who was sat on council for 4 years, and made a decision to say, I'm going to leave this city when he has a powerful position and can help affect change. That's also the reason why I didn't run for council in Ward 3. Jeff wouldn't have run against me. He wouldn't have beat me. That's why he wasn't running against me. But neither one of his opponents would have run against me either. I could have walked into Ward 3 with a walk. Kirsten Holzheimer-Gill sent people to me to tell me just that. We'll walk the streets with you. And if I am what you think I'm going to be, which is a fourth term for Bill Cervinik, I'll walk the streets with you for mayor 4 years from now. Madeline Scarnage told me that, Candace Jones told me that, and Kirsten told me that herself. Okay? What I'm telling you is I could have taken the easy route and been a part of the conversation and walked around and told folks, I'm a councilman. That meant something. But guess what? I sit in city council meetings here in Euclid, and that does not mean anything. If you don't have an administration that is willing to work together with council and listen to council's ideas, it means absolutely nothing. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Councilman McLaughlin and Councilman Langman put forth legislation that could potentially save millions of dollars to the taxpayers here in the city of Euclid with the wastewater treatment project. They passed the legislation 5-4, okay? The mayor vetoed the legislation. Why in the heck he would veto legislation that could potentially save us millions of dollars? I studied this when Philadelphia did it. Philadelphia saved their residents and their taxpayers millions of dollars by doing it. Why would a mayor veto something that could potentially save us millions of dollars? There are backroom deals going on, and he wants to make sure this contract or this company gets the $150, which now we know is $170 million, that's due to them by not doing it, okay? The mayor vetoed the legislation. Well, per Euclid City Charter, if you want to override a mayor's veto, you have to get a supermajority on council, which is 6 votes. It passed 5-4. They got a pretty practical woman. I don't agree with her on everything, and I definitely don't agree with her the fact that she's got a Kirsten Holzheimer-Gill magnet on the side of her car. But one thing's for sure is that a lot of times, Madeline Scarnage is that vote that we need as regular folks. Okay, well, a lot of times we do need that vote. She makes a vote based on, most of the time, okay, based on what she thinks is best. They got Madeline Scarnage to come on their team, vote with them to override the mayor's veto. So now we had a 6-3 vote to override the mayor's veto. I don't even think the legislation is signed to this day, okay? And if it has, it was just recently signed. That's why I don't want to sit on council. I'm going to sit on council, I'm going to propose idea after idea after idea after idea to an administration that wants nothing to do with anything that I'm talking about and let you watch me be a failure for 4 years and then stand before you 4 years from now and say, I'm a leader and I deserve to be mayor of this city? Bullshit.